Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something a little different. A really specific set of gardening notes.
Part 759, to be exact. They're from a blogger named Ang, who calls himself the software plumber.
Right. And if you know his work, it's all, Elixir, open source code.
Yeah.
Very clean, very logical stuff. So seeing him post about a plant, specifically the Mexican Butterwort, really caught my eye.
It's a fantastic source. And our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We need to figure out why this one plant, this Pinguicula allure Mesophytica, made him break his own very firm rule.
A rule against succulents, right.
Yeah.
He explicitly said he avoided them because of their, and I'm quoting here, delicate care and slow growth.
Exactly. He finds them fussy. So for him to go out and get this one, something about it must have really bypassed that filter.
Okay, let's unpack that. What's the first thing about this Butterwort that just completely wins over a self-proclaimed succulent skeptic?
Well, it really starts with the aesthetics.
Yeah.
But it's a very specific kind of aesthetic that appeals to let's say, an orderly mind.
Orderly, okay. Like how?
A lot of houseplants can be a bit amorphous. They just kind of grow. But this one, this Pinguicula, has what Ang calls an elegant form. That's a word you hear for good code, right? Elegant.
Huh. Yeah, it is. So it's not just a plant, it's like a piece of botanical design.
Precisely. It forms this incredibly neat star-shaped rosette. It's all about that clean geometric pattern.
So there's a structure to it that's immediately satisfying. It's not random.
Not at all. It's controlled. And that visual order is, I think, very appealing if you're someone who is, used to building structured systems.
And Ang's notes really zero in on that.
Yeah.
But he also mentioned something else, the potential. The flower.
Ah, yes.
The promise of the bloom.
Yeah.
That's the payoff.
He hadn't seen his own bloom yet, but he was clearly excited about it based on pictures he'd seen.
And that's key. It builds anticipation. He mentioned seeing photos of vibrant magenta and pink flowers. This isn't some tiny, pale little thing. It's a dramatic, high-contrast event.
So you get this duality. You have the clean, satisfying symmetry day to day.
Which feeds that need for order. Right. And then you have this major, colorful event to look forward to. It sort of elevates the whole experience.
It does, and it tackles his slow growth complaint, too. Even if the plant isn't getting huge, that tight rosette is constantly, adding tiny new leaves. There's always some incremental progress to appreciate within that perfect pattern.
So, okay, the plant passes his aesthetic quality control. But this is where, for me, it goes from just being a pretty plant to something a software guy would love.
Feedback loop.
The feedback loop, it's how the plant communicates. It's not passive.
Not at all. The Mexican Butterwort is basically a living sensor, a beautiful little biological monitor.
A living sensor. I love that. That is so much better than a plant that just, slowly turns brown and dies, and you have no idea why.
Exactly. This one gives you real-time status updates on its most important environmental metric, light.
Okay, so tell us about this color shift that Ang was so fascinated by.
Well, the source calls it a fascinating study in lighting, and it really is. The plant's foliage color is a direct output of its light input.
An output of its input.
Okay. So, in lower light, the leaves stay a kind of subtle light green. It's fine, it's healthy, but it's the default state. It's
idling.
Good word for it, yeah. But when you give it stronger light, the optimal amount.
What happens?
The foliage blushes. It turns this incredible, deep pink. It's a clear, unmistakable signal.
So there's no guesswork. It's not like, were the leaves a little yellow? Am I doing this right?
Nope. It's a binary state change. Light green means needs more light. Deep pink means you've nailed it.
For someone who deals with monitoring systems like server stacks, that must be incredibly satisfying. It's like a little dashboard light turning from yellow to green.
It turns delicate care into responsive configuration. You're not just guessing and hoping, you're actively adjusting the variables and getting immediate feedback.
That completely reframes the whole experience. The ambiguity is gone.
Absolutely. The frustration with plants often comes from that lag time. You do something, and then a week later, maybe it starts to look unhappy. With this, the feedback is almost instant.
You're not just a caretaker. You're an operator optimizing a system.
And the system is providing clear logs through its coloration. It's a clean, low-latency signal that lets you iterate and improve. Super satisfying for that technical mindset.
Okay, so we've got the visual appeal, the design, and this amazing functional feedback. But we haven't even talked about the main event yet.
It's day job, you mean?
Yeah, it's day job.
Yeah.
This is a Pinguicula. It's a killer. It's carnivorous.
It is. And that's actually the key to why it's so adaptable. In the wild, it grows in really nutrient-poor soil. There's just not enough nitrogen.
So it evolved to get its nutrients from another source.
Right. Those sticky, dewy leaves are for trapping small insects. It's a survival mechanism to supplement its diet.
That makes sense.
But
In an apartment, that seems like the hardest part to manage. You can't just release a bunch of gnats in your living room.
well, this is the most brilliant part of Aang's whole node. This is where his other hobbies just perfectly converge with this new one. So, while trapping bugs is the natural way, the source confirms that if insects are scarce, you can supplement its diet manually.
And Aang's brilliant plan for feeding this highly specialized carnivorous plant is what?
Fish pellets? Or dried bloodworms?
No way. Fish pellets.
Yep. And what other hobby does Aang mention he's revisiting? Fishkeeping.
Oh, that's perfect. So he doesn't need to buy special plant food or anything.
Exactly. He already has the supplies. He's got fish food on hand, which is basically just densely packed protein and nitrogen.
He's collapsing the supply chain. Instead of having two separate specialized hobbies, he finds a plant that integrates into his existing system.
It's a huge simplification. Think about it. Otherwise, you'd have to go buy freeze-dried crickets or something. It adds friction. Aang is all about removing friction.
So this plant is no longer an outlier. It's just another mouth to feed from the same bin of fish food.
It connects everything. The plant is adaptable enough to use the same nutrients found in commercial fish pellets. He doesn't need to learn a new technique. He just repurposes what he's already got.
That completely changes the barrier to entry. It goes from delicate care to just incredibly convenient care because it slots right into a system he's already maintaining.
Which is why he says it was the perfect time to bring one of these home. It's the ultimate cross-pollination of hobbies.
An optimizer's dream plant. It gives clear, quantitative feedback, and it eats a surplus supply from another passion project.
It just aligns perfectly with that whole mindset of resource integration.
Okay, so to sum it all up, this one plant managed to break through his no succulents rule for what, 3 main reasons?
I think so, yeah. First, you have the high visual reward, that elegant symmetrical rosette and the promise of those vibrant magenta flowers.
Yeah, the design aspect.
Yeah.
Then second, the dynamic feedback loop. That color change from green to pink that turns plant care into a solvable problem.
It takes the guesswork out of it. And finally, the diet. The surprising convenience of its carnivorous nature, since it can eat fish food he already has.
It's just amazing to think that this highly specialized organism, one that evolved to eat bugs, is flexible enough to thrive on a little manufactured fish pellet in an apartment.
Well, what's really fascinating is how specialization and adaptability can coexist. Aang succeeded because he looked past the specialization, the fact that it's carnivorous, and focused on the underlying need.
The need for nitrogen.
The need for nitrogen. And he found the most efficient way to meet that need with his existing inventory. It's a whole different way of thinking about plant care.
And I think that brings us to a final thought for you as you're, looking at the plants in your own home. Given that this butterwort's amazing deep pink color is just unlocked by stronger light, and its diet can be sustained by something as simple as a fish pellet, what other assumptions are we making about our own houseplants?
What hidden potential is in there?
Exactly. What small change in environment, a little more light, maybe a different kind of nutrient supplement, could unlock some hidden characteristic like deeper color or faster growth in a plant you already own?
If a software plumber can optimize a carnivorous plant with fish food,
then maybe there's a simple, elegant optimization waiting right there in your living room.
that sounds like a pretty great deep dive to take on your own.
Thanks for diving in with us today. We'll catch you next time.